that the I see the world, and I think a lot of people from my audience see the world as well. And you also own Drew Media, your own
Yep.
film company, which I think is fantastic, keeping everything in house. And I just have a couple questions for you today. Get my audience more acclimated with you, your body of work, and sort of how you see the world.
Hey, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. So really quick, Drew, what made you initially decide to become a filmmaker?
Oh man, that's a that's a big question. It decided for me.
Yeah.
In fact, yeah. Somebody said that when I was in like my 30s, living in Atlanta, and I had a valet parking company and a parking management company that I owned,
Hmm.
and I, I had done a little bit of acting when I was younger, but it was just screwing around kind of thing. I mean, I, I, I wanted to be serious, but I wasn't serious about it.
Hmm.
But I started writing a script, and I was working on the script for like years. And I had a valet that worked for me that was film school, and he was and I was talking to him about the script, and like I was like, I want to put the camera here, put the camera there, and he's like, man, you should be a director. You're a director. And I didn't even really know what that was. I know that sounds ridiculous, even though I was like a film buff, but
Hmm.
I was like, oh, I can do that. And then I believed him for some reason. And so then I this was like 2003, two. So at that time, going to university still had some pastiche. It wasn't the joke that I know it is now. All this education. I'm
Hmm.
I'm embarrassed at how much education I have. But
Yeah.
that said, I went and applied to grad school for the Master of Fine Arts,
Hmm.
and I went there and I did like my first film was like this short film, and I'm not just saying this. Like I'll tell you right now, like I can't. I eat eggs every day. I can barely make over easy eggs. I can't make them right. But I something about filmmaking, like I just blew the class away.
Yeah.
And my professor was like, and they hated me. I thought I was going to go there. It was going to be this big love fest.
Hmm.
All the shit that we're dealing with now was brewing. It really started in the 80s, but it was really brewing in the 2000s. This is right around when Bush invaded Iraq.
Yeah.
So all this like communist horse shit and everything was really brewing then.
Hmm.
And I didn't realize that, because I was just like a totally different guy. I was like this lunatic kind of Chad. I owned my parking company and I ran it like a mob boss.
Yeah.
I really, you had to, or they would steal everything in that business. Was like, if you didn't, you had to be benevolent. Like I paid more than anybody in town, but if you weren't hard, like they would steal from you because it was all
Yeah.
everybody turned in their cash every night and you shared. So you had to be put the fear of God into people. So I was like a totally different kind of guy, and I got into school and it was like, what is this? I thought it was gonna be this big like art love fest, and
Hmm.
they freaking hated my guts. They just something about me. They hated me. And in fact, but this one professor loved me, and we
Hmm.
became actually really good friends. We had a falling out during COVID because he was a complete moron
Mm.
during COVID. I couldn't take it. It was very very depressing, but I still love the guy. Someday we'll become friends again, but
Yeah.
we're still friends. But I couldn't. I was like, dude, I'm done with you. I can't. But and he was like, dude, you're a director. You got to do this. And so then from that moment, I sold the business, and then here we are. And it was like when I got into grad school, I honestly did not know what aperture was. Like
Yeah.
I had to have somebody write it down. I was like, wait, there's a thing. You close the camera, the light comes in. Like didn't know anything. It's so insane to think that I did it at this point. I would never, So I was like, what was I thinking? Believe me, there's been many a nights, even after this film, like because that was the deal we had. We give Barnum World away for free,
Hmm.
and I was like, out of budget 2 months ago. I'm like, man, I wish I just got. What was I thinking, man? I could have my parking business. My old partner, he started another business, and we could talk about that because that's kind of interesting. Because I know you talk a lot about 5G,
Yeah.
um, and he's like a multimillionaire. And in fact, at one point when I was in grad school, I had to go back and valet for my old company. I mean,
Oh
you're talking
man.
about it's just shit sandwich after shit sandwich, but
Yeah.
it's working out. It's turning out okay. So here we are.
That's good. That's good. I'm glad because in this, if you asked me what I was going to be doing 10 years ago, it was absolutely not this. And it's good to see like people find their calling, stick to it, and do it in a way that isn't dishonest or like taking industry money, selling out and things like that. So I really appreciate that, and giving away like the opportunity to watch Barnum World, in my opinion, that is fantastic. I've already shared it with basically everyone that I know. And I think that's just like the best way to go about it.
Whoa, I don't know. It's the best way. It
Well,
is.
not for the bottom line, but
I wouldn't advise it, but thank you for sharing it.
yeah, absolutely, man.
And thank you for not being Benny Johnson. I really appreciate that.
I,
Of course,
I,
I wouldn't be here if you were Benny Johnson. So
yeah, absolutely. And thank you again, man. I just can't put into words like because I know the effort that goes into just doing a live stream, and I imagine that's paramount to like shooting an entire production with a crew and everything like that. So just the fact that you were willing to do that, I think speaks volumes.
thank you. Thank you.
So what was your like waking up moment? Where, at what point in your life, like, did something happen, or
I got you. I got you there.
Yeah.
It was birth of my daughter.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's it. I was literally that day in the hospital. I lived in LA at the time, and we were in God, what's the famous hospital in LA? It's like a famous one. It's right in Beverly Hills. Like literally Jay-Z and
Like Sunset or something.
no, it's called it'll come to me, but it's a famous hospital there. And it's beautiful. We had the whole LA mountain, and this is before LA went to dog shit. Like this was like right at the tail. It was still like really nice, uh and I didn't want to have her. I mean, I was a complete asshole. I didn't want to have her. I shouldn't say that. It was all planned and everything, but I'm saying I was like, I never wanted to have a kid, is what I meant
Yeah.
to say. And I didn't want to have a daughter. Like I found out she was a daughter. She was going to be a daughter. I was like, oh, because I knew that me and the ex weren't going to make it.
Hmm.
And she came out, and I like looked in her eyes, and I mean, I'm not trying to be dramatic. I don't know. Do you have kids?
No.
Okay, I highly, highly, highly advise it. And I was just like, oh my God, like it's like you're looking right into God's eyes. It's incredible. And I literally was like, can I swear on here?
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, what the fuck have I been doing? Because I was 42 when I had my first kid.
Yeah.
And I was like, thank God I had her. Oh my God, thank God I had my daughter. It's like the greatest thing that ever happened to me. I'm so thankful. So thankful she's a daughter too. I mean, I would love to have a son. That would be wonderful. But I mean, and I was like, what the fuck have I been doing? Because I should have 10 of these.
Yeah.
Why don't I have 10 of these? What? And then I started to, long story short, reverse engineer my life and all of the way that I thought and the decisions that I made. And I was like, man, it's all bullshit. And then, it just, as I started doing that, things started coming at me. Like I would just be somewhere and I would see something, and then I would go down that rabbit hole, and then I'd go down. And for like 6 months, when I really opened up was when I was like running around telling everybody, you need to buy silver, the world's going to collapse. I did that whole thing.
Yep.
I was red pilled. And, but yeah, it was just really the birth of my daughter, man. Just looking into an infant's eyes, and just like, it's just the purity and the beauty, and you never ever love anything like you love your child. It's just, and that's what they tried. That's what they engineered a society to keep us from having. They really did. And it's like, I'm a oak of a man. I should have 10 kids. I should have a property.
Yeah.
I was like, what the, how am I in this situation? Why do I think having kids was bad? Like how did I learn that? And then they just started reverse engineering, and then that was it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you look at like, I would say like third wave feminism, especially in the most recent years, and things like Planned Parenthood and all the additives that they put in food, pump our air, water, all of that. And you're absolutely right. I do think there is like a very a demonstrable war on fertility, I guess, is the best way to.
I mean,
put that.
it's winning. It's winning. Look at the world. The fertility rate is dog shit. Besides, like certain third world countries that just they don't care about.
Yeah.
And they could wreck their fertility too. They could probably wreck their fertility easier than they could wreck ours.
Yeah.
If they wanted to, like they don't give a shit about Djibouti.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't blame them.
Right.
My buddy's been to Djibouti. Has like just side note. He's like, oh my God, that place is the worst place. My buddy used to work on a ship, and he went all over the world. It's like Djibouti is the worst place in the world. But Yeah, it's when you talk about all those things, third wave feminism, all that stuff, it's all just demonic,
Yeah.
anti-human demonism. That's all it is.
Yeah.
You can just wrap it all up into whatever the tools they're using in psyops and everything. It's just all demonic, anti-human
Yeah.
Satanism, for lack of a better word, really.
I absolutely agree. Like you have like tech giants that sit there and preach about like our carbon footprints. Meanwhile, they're having like 100 children. The guy from Telegram has over 100 kids. And that's
What is
without
that? He's 100 kids.
yeah, I think he has like 107 children. Like he's
Get
just
out of here.
yeah.
How
Um
is he? Was he actually? He's not birthing them.
no,
He's
it's like all IVF stuff. All the technocrat people are like trying to get like artificial wombs going and things like that so they can just
wow,
manufacture children.
wow.
Yeah. Yeah,
But,
it's
but,
rough.
so you were gonna. I cut you off. Sorry.
Oh no, you're good.
Uh,
And meanwhile there, you have people like Elon saying, the birth rate is declining, and that's just all like revelation of the method and like signaling to win points and stuff like that. And the as far as like across the world, like you said, it sans like a couple of countries in like Africa, and some third world places, it's sort of like a trend across the globe. I think Israel might be the only one that is kind of like a first world nation that's sort of increasing in their population, and I'm sure there's no coincidence there, but I digress. So what in your opinion, if you had to describe like the inspiration behind Jones Plantation, like what made you sort of like set out and say, I want to do this as a concept for a film and get this out to people?
well, there's a short called The Jones Plantation online. It's a little
Hmm.
12-minute. Have you ever seen it? It's a little 12-minute kind of animated sort of thing.
I hadn't seen it, no.
It's kind of viral, and it's actually really good. And I was in a conference in Mexico called Anarchapulco,
Hmm.
and I went down there and I drugged down the AD of the assistant director of Jones Plantation, Doug Mize, with me. We brought all of our equipment. We didn't just bring like a travel kit. We bought everything, lights. And I was going to do this project called Democracy Down.
Hmm.
And I was just going to interview people from all across the spectrum, including, and I figured, well, I'll start with the anarchists. And I got down there and I interviewed Larkin Rose. And during the interview, and I still have the Democracy Down thing on my Drew Media TV YouTube channel if anybody's interested. But during the interview, I said, hey, like I've talked about this story before, but I said, slavery was bad because the whips and the chains and the physical, abuse. But today, maybe the slavery is more pernicious because it's through mind control and brainwashing and psyop propaganda. And he's like, oh yeah, I made a little animation called The Jones Plantation. You should check that out. It's on the internet. And so we went some point during the trip, me and Doug watched it, and then we were flying home, and I was like, man, we should turn that Jones Plantation into I have no idea why it was just divine inspiration.
Yeah.
We should turn that into a short narrative, which means just like actual human beings. We should make a short. And he's like, why don't we just do a feature?
Yeah.
And I was like, so I got home and I wrote Larkin on Facebook Messenger. I was like, hey, we got this. Tell him the idea. He's like, let's do it. And he never, like, it's not like I had done a lot of work. I mean, I'd worked in
Hmm.
just about everything, but I didn't have as a director like a feature film dossier. I had one feature I did called The Atlantan that I made for $13,000. That's on YouTube. It
Hmm.
wasn't for a long. It's on Amazon too, but um, it's a very well done for 13 grand, but it's not like an enjoyable filmmaking experience. That's another story. And then I did this other documentary called Lord of the Freaks, this absurdist documentary called Lord of the Freaks. That was more of like a director for hire. So I
Hmm.
didn't have like a big dossier, but he was a really supportive from the get and had my back. And in fact, at one point, once we got the script done, some of the people that I know in LA, I sent my friend in LA who's a screenwriter,
Hmm.
and I'm like a real screenwriter. Most of the screenwriters in LA are Ivy League. A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah.
So he was like a Harvard, like the real deal. And I sent him and him and his partner, producing partner, they took it to like a pretty big, I won't say the name of them, but it's not a studio, but it's like a smaller studio.
Hmm.
And they wanted to buy it. And they were like, listen, we'll buy it from you. but you're not going to be able to direct it.
Oof.
And we're going to, and they told me we're going to make it about race, just so you
Mhm.
understand. And I was like, no, kid, sorry.
Yeah.
They're like, dude, you're not going to be able to get it done, man. You're not going to be able to get it done for the budget. You're not going to be able to get it done. I'm like, watch me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which was up. They weren't totally wrong, but somehow we pulled off a miracle and got that film done. But that's the origin of it. It was pretty like kind of, I don't know. The funny thing was Larkin lives, in the same town I do. He lives down the street. I mean, he's like 20 minutes from me, 30
Yeah.
minutes from me.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
That's good though. So like if you guys ever want to collaborate, you just drive down the street.
Yeah.
Awesome, man.
And I would say this as advice to people. Paying some money and going to these conferences is a good investment if you are going to the right one, because you get access to people.
Yeah.
And that's huge. It's like jumping in line. You get access. You're there. You can meet the actual people. You never know what's going to come out of it. Don't go there with any plans for something to come out of it, but just go there and talk to people, and you just never know what's going to come out. I highly recommend the analog experience.
Okay. Yeah, I've done a few events now, and nothing replaces the networking in person, like being able to shake someone's hand and actually have like a physical experience there with them. First of all, it's not being like spied on by the government, and you just get to understand that like on the other side of that screen is an actual like living, breathing being, and you get to have those like small idiosyncrasies that kind of get lost in the digital space.
Agreed. Especially, it's weird because when we screened Barnum World, there was like a bunch of people from Twitter, and they're like, I don't remember their handles. I'm Bunny343 or whatever it is. I'm like, oh, and it's like, even in my mind, I had dehumanized them in a way. You know what I mean? It's like, oh yeah, you're a person.
Yeah.
I know it sounds crazy, but you do that. You just kind of see them as this like internet profile pic. It's weird.
Absolutely. Like it especially when you consider like follower numbers and all of the metrics that we use to analyze like success on social media, that in and of itself, like psychologically, I feel like dehumanizes us, turns us into numbers on a screen, just like with
100%.
the money and everything. So,
yeah.
So same question.
Well, my follower count on Twitter definitely gets me dehumanized. For sure. Like the freaking loser. But go ahead.
No, you're good, man. So I'll ask you the same question, but with Barnum World. What was sort of like the inspiration behind that, and what inspired you to sort of take that direction? Because I noticed that it's sort of like a mockumentary style mixed with like reality footage, which
that's what it is.
Yeah, so I think it's a really interesting approach. So just sort of how that all came about.
Well, it might be a new genre.
Yeah.
I don't know what the name of it, where you bring in a fake expert and he does a tell-all, and then you prove what he's saying is true. So you're basically destroying whatever institution it is that you're going after through this fake tell-all guy, but you're proving what he's saying is all true. So you have this theory about the institution, whatever it is. And like for example, there's a guy named Doc Malik. I don't know if you're familiar with him.
I've heard of him.
He's awesome. He's an awesome dude. And he's seen it now. He wants to do one for the medical industry.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like a fake truth teller guy, and you come in and you tell the truth, and then you prove it. The original idea was just a documentary. It was just going to be that's why I was like, I'll just throw it up on the internet. Because if it was just a documentary, I would have been done months ago. It was a lot more difficult to do the mockumentary. But it was based on Legal Man, U.S. Crime Review on Twitter. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him, but
yeah.
He played Mr. Jones in Jones Plantation.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. So then he talks about Barnum statements in his podcast. And I thought a Barnum statement is a statement that sounds like it means something really profound, and it draws up people's emotions, but in fact, it doesn't mean anything because it means something different to everyone who hears it. So a good example of that is Make America Great Again. That's a Barnum statement. It doesn't mean anything. And it's unfalsifiable, unprovable. So there's no way to prove whether or not Trump made America great again or didn't make America great again, what he's done. He's just going to say, I made America great again.
Yeah.
There's nothing. So, and then everybody hears that. I could put 20 people in a room and say, hey, give me 3 to 5 sentences. What does make America great again mean to you? And I'm going to get 20 different answers. Doesn't mean anything. It's meaningless.
Yeah.
Build back better. All that shit. You know the whole deal.
Absolutely.
Back the blue, all this stuff. So, I just said, well, let's make a film because my thing is, and always in life is what gets measured gets managed. Whether you're trying to lose weight or whether you're trying to take remove your enslavement system,
Yeah.
you have to measure it. And so I said, well, if we can get people to understand what Barnum statements are, once you see them, you can't unsee them.
Yeah.
And they're really powerful tool. I've had so many people tell me, man, I'm so glad you named it. And like I said, measured it because now I can see them and I go, oh, that's a Barnum statement. They'll say, I've always seen these things and they always felt weird. And like, what is he? I don't know. You know, they kind of like, I hear them say it, but it doesn't really mean anything. And it sounds like bullshit to me. But now you said, okay, that's a Barnum statement. So we're hoping at some point, one of these jackass politician guys is at a conference or something. It says something like Vivek Ramaswamy or something.
Yeah.
You know, we need to get back to the Constitution. Like, what does that mean? You know, that's a Barnum statement. Sorry, Vivek, that's a Barnum statement. And so we were going to just make a documentary, and then it morphed into a mockumentary with this character, this Natty Jones, whose backstory is a distant cousin of Nathaniel Jones from Jones Plantation.
Oh, nice.
He's like a distant nephew, I mean. And that's not in the film. That's just our backstory.
Okay.
And he's another more backstory. His father worked for Rand Corporation.
Oh,
sort of like, yeah. And even more backstory is that his mother, she died. His first mother was like an alcoholic, and she was like miserable. She died in a mysterious car accident, and then he was married to this other woman his father was with, who was really nasty to him. And they kind of raised him as a propagandist. He's a propagandist. That's what he does. So he comes in to do a tell-all, and it's kind of like revelation of the method for him.
Yeah.
He's getting older. He's in his 60s, and he's like, I want a record. And he's like, and his whole thing is like, it doesn't matter what I say. Nobody's going to believe me anyway, and it's not going to change any of their behavior. So who cares if I tell what it is? I'm just going to tell you what's going on. And he goes, most people, they're not going to listen to me anyway.
Yeah. And you see that so much right now, especially with like the way that Trump is handling like the Epstein Files, for example.
Yeah, it's so crazy, man.
Yeah.
It's so insane. It's like, wow. I've got my daughter's grandmother is like this Trump. She even bought a freaking Tesla because she thought Elon was this free speech guy, you know?
Yeah.
And there's just nothing you can say. It's really good because my daughter's based. She's like 12 and she gets it.
Nice.
She thinks my grandmother's crazy. And so I'll say something to her and she'll like, nah! And I'll go, you see that? See, you just the mind control. You can't control it. It's all propaganda. Like I show her an example of what it is.
Yeah.
It's like, it's just blocked. The mind is just, it's like she's programmed and she can't, it's painful to accept that you've been duped. That's what he says in the film. There's so many good lines. I like the lines.
Oh, yeah.
He says they'd have to accept the fact they've been duped at a very fundamental level their entire lives. He's like, most people, they're just not willing to accept that. Yeah. And it's painful because I know that I always knew things were bullshit, but like when the 2020 thing hit, and I really was like, okay, this is not just like not working.
Yeah.
It's actually working.
Yeah.
It's working exactly it was designed to do. It's always been a control system. It's always been an extortion racket. And to let that go where I still thought, okay, America, you know, it's just been corrupted and it's because people believe in this stuff in the state. We could have, once I realized, no, this is actually, the system is doing exactly what it's designed to do. It's not broken. There's no fixing it. That was a painful experience for me for a little while. Like I had to go through, it was like losing a girlfriend that I loved.
Yeah.
You know, I was taught that shit my whole life, the freedom machine and the most freedom machine ever freedoming and the founders and their holiness and the wonderness. And it's like, wow. I mean, there was times in my life where like, if you like talk shit in America, I want to fight you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was crazy. And I was like, I had to let all that go. And then I've come to realize that there's a difference between America and Americans, which is what we are, and the United States federal regime.
Yeah.
And there's another thing where what gets measured gets managed is that we start calling us and they. Everybody's always like, we bombed Iraq or we did this or we didn't. Stop doing that. That's a very powerful tool. You don't realize language is a very powerful tool, and it can elevate your consciousness. If we start talking like we're occupied, they did this, they do that, and that we're Americans and we are in them.
Yeah,
if we can start just at least talking. You would be surprised how much that could change things.
Absolutely. Like, you know, I see, countless different ways that they divide us, not only from like the political party, but race, socioeconomic, geographical location, even like small things where I've noticed that there's a couple of, like you have this infighting with like influencers that are both clearly like working, you have like Tucker fighting with Candace or whatever that looks like. And you have people taking sides on that. And it's like that, little stuff like that. And we all sort of live in like this, our own little bubble of independent like divisions that we're all like forced to take one side or the other. I have this post called Normalizing the Agenda that sort of like maps out how they sort of herd people into the two camps, and what they really want is something sort of in between, so that the government can always come in with their Barnum statements of unification and bringing the country together, and then
the country together.
Yeah. And so if they set one parameter here and one parameter here and make sure that it's always somewhere in between those two, they're always winning. So
yeah, it's the what's that? The Hegelian dialectic.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
But the thing is that when we're freedom people, we always get screwed in the Hegelian dialectic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I got to give a little more of my freedom, but you get to get more of taking what you want.
Yeah.
Okay. And then now we're here. Now let's move. Now we're going to take a little more of your freedom and you get a little more. Okay. Now we're here. And it just moves down the line. Yep. And here we are living in this insane control system where everybody works 6 months a year for the government.
Absolutely.
We have the largest government in the history of the world. And people want to tell me about the freedom machine.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't understand. What are you looking at? Where?
Yeah, it's so weird to see, because I feel like more than ever, like I maybe like post 9/11, but excluding that, like I think patriotism is more powerful than it's been in my entire life, as far as, getting people to feel the things that they want them to feel and say the things that they want, and the mental gymnastics. And
that doesn't that come with before the fall though? That's pride.
Yeah.
Pride. I'm telling you, I'm going to call it right here. We're this country. What we need is secession.
Mm-hmm.
That would be the first step. We're going to break up in the early 2030s.
Yeah.
I'm calling it.
All right.
Through all the research that I've done and the stuff that I trust the most, it's going to break up in the whatever that looks like. I don't know, but it's breaking up in the 2030s.
And so do you think that's exclusive to America, or like the West specifically? Or do you think I'm
speaking about America. I don't know about the West. I'm definitely speaking about America. Maybe the West. I don't know. I mean, things are going to change all over the place when the empire goes down.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? I was listening. I read this blog, I don't know what it was. It was a guy from Bolivia talking about how there's such a shortage of dollars there. Mm-hmm. And you can't get dollars in, you can't get dollars out, and everybody's using stable coins.
Yeah.
And it just reminded me that the empire crumbles from the outside in. It doesn't crumble from the inside out. Yeah. So it's everybody around is starting to collapse. And by the 2030s, my estimation, I suggest people go take a look at Martin Armstrong's models, which are based on a real AI that he created years ago. He's a long story, but you can go look into him if you're interested. But 2030s, I think we'll split up. What that looks like, I said, I don't know. Hopefully we'll get more freedom. I don't know. I mean, their country was founded on the Articles of Confederation. A lot of people don't know that. And then in 1789, they brought in the Constitution, and that was all a scammed up deal to fold the country up into a federal system. Yep. And, if voting worked, why hasn't it worked in 200 and whatever years? Yeah. And people talk about Reagan, how great. Oh, I'm a Reagan. Okay. Well, Reagan was so great, which we can argue that, of course. Have you gotten freer since Reagan?
Right.
Have taxes reduced since Reagan? Has surveillance reduced since Reagan? Have things got better? Are we freer now since Reagan? So what was the point of Reagan? Reagan was to tack right for a couple of years.
Yep.
And then tack back left, tack right, tack left, right, all the way into the electronic prison. That's all the marbles. Everything else they'll give you an Epstein guy, or they won't give you an Epstein guy. Now they're talking about bringing out. We're going to give you some files.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah. Throw you a bone so you'll shut up.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. We're looking into it. But whatever they're going to give you, all the marbles is the electronic prison. Yeah. That's all that matters and the money, which is tied together.
Yeah. Yeah, I like to make it a point to go back and talk about like the Roosevelts, like Teddy Roosevelt and FDR, because of how agenda driven that their actions were, even, you know, 100, almost 100 years ago.
Oh yeah,
You know,
especially FDR.
yeah, I will die on the hill that FDR is one of the worst presidents that we've ever had. You know, he like gave us the entitlements scam that we have going on. He
He
gave
was
it,
basically a communist.
yeah. I would argue even a like an early form technocrat.
That's right.
He had this guy in his administration named Guy Tugwell. Hilarious name, I know, but he was like very inspired by like John Dewey and Hegel and Thorstein Veblen, and then we magically all get like a serial number and they call it Social Security. You know, and various things like that with like the military industrial complex and the way that he set stuff up. But I try to do that because I want to show people that like, hey, you know, fake news and these like paradigms and narratives and stuff have been happening since before any of us were alive. And it goes back at least, you know, 100 years with the technocratic agenda, but all the way back. And I want to ask you, how far back do you think it goes?
Well, I just want to mention one thing on the
Yeah.
FDR thing, because
Yeah.
that's a perfect example of the propaganda that I was raised on, because
Hmm.
I grew up thinking he was a great,
Yep.
great man. Remember the speeches they'd play? We have been invaded, but meanwhile, he knew they were
Yeah.
coming the whole time. They set up. So that's a really good example of the bullshit that we were fed as kids.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I'm not, I haven't dug deep into the history of all this, but I am aware of a place called Media,
Hmm.
the location called Media in the Middle East, which was apparently like, that's what they started this. They were the ones that kind of, I don't know if, who knows? We don't know what the hell went on before, how many, maybe we hit by a meteor. I don't know, but
Yeah.
like if there, how many civilizations have been here, but we know we know some things, and apparently there was a place called Media in the Middle East, which is kind of like where kind of Iraq and Iran are, kind of thing. Do you know
Hmm.
about this?
Yeah.
And it's when they started, they would teach people how to this control system, and it would run on like they'd have holidays, celebrations, and festivals.
Hmm.
You know, they need mimetic things to get you tied in. So, oh, we got to work for 6 months, and then we're gonna have our spring festival,
Yeah.
and then you know the Super Bowl is coming. The Super Bowl's
Yeah.
in January, and then you know,
The solstice.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's just like there's always like, and so they have all these like ways to tie you into the culture, and then they could just keep running on the scam, because these people just live on stolen money. They can break the law. And I'm talking about people in quote unquote government,
Yeah.
and they never have to work. And they get all the perks in the world. It's like everybody's like, oh, the president's job is so hard. I'm like,
Yeah.
so fucking doesn't do shit. He shows up and says some stuff.
Yeah.
He doesn't
Signs
do
his name
shit.
a couple times.
Yeah, he flies around a private, flies around that big plane, gets his ass kissed everywhere he goes, the
Yep.
best meals, all the money he could ever want to spend. He doesn't do shit.
Yeah.
So,
And then after they're out of office, they get, you know, not only the pension, the Secret Service, but they can just get speaking fees for life and
oh yeah,
charge
yeah,
an
oh,
arm
yeah.
and a leg just to show up somewhere.
Yeah, there's a great Twitter account. I think it's Quiver Quantitative, I think
Yeah.
they're called. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yep. I actually just quoted them because they posted about Marjorie Taylor Greene
That's
buying.
right, Palantir.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So he has all everybody. You can just, if you want to make some money, just jump on there and buy what they're buying.
Yeah.
It's so funny because they'll get on like these committees, and the committee is going to do the contract for whatever bullshit they're doing, and
Yep.
then they buy the stock in the company. And like, I don't understand how people don't see the scam here. It's so crazy
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah.
How do you not see this? It's so obvious. The funny one is that guy. This is going back a little. That Michael Chertoff guy. Remember, he used to be the head of Homeland Security.
Yeah.
Homeland Insecurity. Well, his company was the company that made all those damn radiation machines at the airport.
Oh, like the metal detect, like scanning through your body and stuff. Oh
Yeah,
man.
So it's like, dude, I don't understand how you can't put two and two together. The guys with the money and the guys that get the power in the government, they work together to collude to take over the marketplace. It's not complicated.
Yeah. Yeah. And
You just have to be a total piece of shit. That's the thing that people can't understand. They can't imagine people are this anti-human, this selfish. They just can't wrap their head around it. And I'm like, well, go look at babies getting blown up in the Middle East for about 5 minutes, and you'll see how evil they actually are.
Yeah.
Go look at abortions, post-birth abortions, or whatever they're calling them, and see
Yeah.
them sticking needles in the back of an infant's head, sucking it. I mean, just go look, and you want to see how evil they actually are. It's not complicated.
Yeah. I mean, even like when you get into the eugenics itself and the fact that, they can openly talk about like CRISPR and gene editing and stuff that used to be, vilified back in the day. And now they just speak about it brazenly, openly, and it seems like nobody cares. It's the strangest phenomenon that I've seen. And I'm over here like freaking out, like, hey, these guys are, taking over the world. They're pushing AI everywhere. They're literally trying to gene edit us out of existence. Why is nobody caring? And people will just be like, oh, you're just feeding narratives. You're blackpilling people. I just heard a CNN anchor use the term blackpill, and I was like, oh, cool. Maybe now people will finally stop saying it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. I had something I wanted to say there about that, and I forgot what it was. It'll come back to me.
All right. So do you think there's like a major inflection point as far as because I'd assume that the powers that be didn't start in like a global control system like we have now with interlocking governments that seem to be feuding all the time, that are secretly working together. But do you think there was a point where it did finally become like a global control scheme?
Jeez, that's a big question. I don't
Yeah.
know. It's big. This is what he's saying in the movie. It's a
There's.
big question for a simple man like me.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Great.
Um, I would just say that I just go with it's a demonic.
Yeah.
If it's just human beings being assholes, I would be shocked. I would be disappointed.
Yeah.
It's just going on too long, too complicated, too organized. It's just not, and most people are good people. I mean, I don't know if these people are even human. I know they don't get weird. I mean, obviously, at some point, if it's not something, I don't think aliens. I think it's like more of like a demonic type, like of supernatural. I mean, they worship the dark occult. They're into the dark occult.
Yeah.
This is what other thing I think I remember what I was going to say. Now it's related to this question is that everybody's always like, oh, it's all you always know in a midwit when they think every single person is controlled op.
Yeah.
But like, the thing that people understand, the tools and the tricks that we lay out in Barnum World, it's really easy for them to do.
Yeah.
It's not like they don't have to be that organized. It's so easy to manipulate human beings. It's so easy. And I always say there's this guy, ex-CAA guy, and he's like pretends like he's like a white hat now, but he did have this interview. He's like, I learned these tricks to manipulate people in training.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, we're learning them. It's like 4 or 5 things. He's like, there's no way this shit works. This is too silly. And then he goes, I got out there and I started practicing it at the bank and at the mall or whatever. And he's like, I couldn't believe how easy it was.
Yeah.
It's so easy to trick us.
Well, I'd noticed, so were any of those methodologies basically in Jones Plantation? Because I noticed that same thing where like plantation owner Jones was like, this seems ridiculous. Why are we doing this? And he's like, trust me. Yeah, exactly. One of the biggest tricks they use now is repetitive content. Yeah.
Repetitive content. And it's interesting because your subconscious mind, it works like your heart beats.
Yeah.
You don't have any control over it. You don't realize that. And when you're in a position of like you're sitting there watching television or you're watching a movie, you're in a very what's a word? You're susceptible, very susceptible. And so when they found out they repeat something 3 times that you will accept it. So basically your subconscious mind is looking to what the pack is doing, because when you were, when we were supposedly cavemen or whatever, where it was dangerous. If you got separated from the pack, you were dead.
Yeah.
So what you're looking for on what they're showing you is what the pack is doing. So you accept whatever the propaganda is. So that's why they do this repetitive content. And I think they figured out that even if you show people that there's like, because there's a clip in Barnum World that blew my mind. And I'm going through all these clips and stuff kind of screwed me up because I was like, I always knew this stuff was real, but I never really sat and like had to sit there and go through hours and hours of it and just go, oh my God. But there's a clip in there where I don't know if you saw this, where they're like, and that's the truth. And that's the truth.
Yeah.
There's like 30 people.
Yep.
There was a whole line before that. I just didn't want to include it in the video where it goes on. I don't remember what they say. Donald Trump wants to blah, blah, blah. I don't know what they said. It was some stupid shit. They all said the exact same thing. And there was a slight variation, but most of them did the exact movement where they would say the thing and then get to a point and sit down and go, and then that's the truth.
Yeah.
And then that's the truth. And it was like this crazy shit. And it was like, I think they figured out that even if you show people that they're doing this, it doesn't matter. It's like this because they only need to get a certain amount of people, and there's just, if you believe a certain thing and they've got you hooked in, then they can just do whatever the hell, as long as they just put that content out there. I don't know. I don't know what to make of that yet, but I saw that and I was like, what in the fuck? This is so insane. It's like insanity. It's Barnum World.
It's the same phenomenon that I have where like I'll draw out these charts, and when I think of the way that the world works, it's people associating with each other and working together to like formulate deals and get things moving. And I often get told like, hey, you're playing guilt by association, but then those same people will demand like the Epstein list. And I'm like, wait a minute. Okay, so when they associate with a Jeffrey Epstein, then it's incriminating. But when they're associating with like Peter Thiel or the CIA or the NSA, that can be like written off. And I'm like, how does that work?
Right.
And I've done like multiple maps outlining, 600 different ways that Donald Trump's compromised with the visuals and everything. And people
I saw that crazy map you wrote. I got to look at that. That looked insane.
Yeah, man. And people just call me schizo. And I'm like, look, I'm just going and finding public information, putting it out there. And I'm not, trying to embellish anything, or like it really is that like crazy and incestuous and interconnected.
Where do you find all that information?
So for some of my live streams, what I'll do is it's just like really research intensive. I'll be live for like 4 to 5 hours, and it's me going through looking through things, but my chat also helps. So
okay.
What
things are you looking at? What are you looking for? Just whatever, just deals, and like, where do you find all this stuff?
Yeah, like I'll just research like various financial records. Believe it or not, the SEC website is one of my best friends, because that like tells me, who's part of which company and things. And when you go investigate the company, most of the time, like you said, to like the point of their hubris is they have just like their teams laid out, and usually they'll have a little bio that's like, this person worked at Goldman Sachs and BlackRock and all this stuff, and I'll just take all that and create it into a visual, and over time it just slowly expands. And as I go back to different things, like the thing with Jeffrey Epstein being involved with like Peter Thiel's Naraya Capital, that was like a very recent development that I had mapped out, so I'll go back and add those things as things develop, and it grows into a beast.
Well, Wheezy from What Is Truth, right?
Yeah.
Well, did you see that video he did where he showed that Epstein's house was literally in walking distance from Trump's house down in Mar-a-Lago?
Yeah. Insane.
Is that real?
I believe that is real. Yeah. He had that little house, and I've seen it on a couple of documentaries where it had like the hedges that cover up like the front yard, so you can't see who's like coming and going and stuff. And yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, that is. Where is Mar-a-Lago? I know I could find that. Where's that place? Is that in Palm Beach?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he was down there. It's where he lived down there. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was in walking distance from Trump's house. Just think about how insane that is.
Yeah.
You're going to tell me he's not connected? It's just like the Elon Twitter thing. It's like, okay, so they have this because Twitter is just a PSYOP creator. It's really what it is.
Yeah.
And they have this tool they can use where they can create these PSYOPs, and they can control who gets to communicate, who doesn't get to communicate, whose algorithm they can push. They have this perfect tool, right? Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay. So they're just going to let Elon buy it and he's not involved? What, are you retarded?
Yeah.
They're just gonna he got the deal. Darn it, man. Oh man, like we almost had that one. We had him for a while there, but then Elon came in with his big freedom of speech and his fight for freedom of speech, and he just pulled it right out from under us. Oh man,
Yeah.
like it's just so. How stupid are you? Do you think you're gonna let what was it, like $40 billion or 40 million, whatever it was, deal go through? Let him take their number one psyop tool? Just, because he just was such a great fighter for freedom of speech that he beat you at the game. It's like, oh my God, how stupid are you?
Yeah.
How naive are you? I wish it was true, but it's just not.
Absolutely. Yeah. I struggle with some people to explain to them, like, the theater doesn't just stop with politics. It's like business, where you think like Apple and Google are like fighting with each other, but they're funded by the same fucking companies, and they're run by the same guys that went to school together and alma maters and everything like that. They're all just buddy. And it's that, again, that same false dichotomy. It extends into the legal realm as well. I think, speaking of Wheezy, like me and him just did a live stream about the Alex Jones Sandy Hook trial, and how that didn't go down exactly as Alex Jones had laid it out. And it never even went to the Supreme Court on like a First Amendment issue. So it's like, the Trump case where he had like 37 felonies. I'm like, guys, the theater is everything. From, interpersonal relationships that are blasted all over social media, to the legal aspect, to business, to politics, and everything in between. And I think a lot of people have a hard time grasping that.
Well, I mean, it's like, what happened to the so-called coronavirus? I mean, I don't know if we want to go down this road, but like, where? Oh, was the vaccine that didn't work that just suddenly got rid of it? It just disappeared into thin air.
Yeah.
It's like when people are telling you, well, look, Rand Paul is like, oh, it's the lab leak. They said it was a lab leak. If you're talking about a lab leak, then you're not watching the ball. This shit never happened. It was all a scam.
Yeah.
It never existed. There was nothing going on.
Yeah.
They didn't drop the flu one year, and then all of a sudden, and it's like, oh, that's because we were all wearing masks. I'm like, how could you say? It's just the people, the mental gymnastics they'll go through to not accept how badly they're controlled and being scammed, and the fact that we're all just basically free range slaves.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I always point to COVID as like the prime example of like, look, you had the legal aspect of basically every country. You had the government working with them. You had companies working together, and like even institutional sciences, like they're all in on it. And I think back to like studying the medical industry over the last 100 years and realizing that it's all just Rockefeller propaganda.
Oh yeah, have you ever seen James Corbett's little short about that?
I haven't.
How Rockefeller took over the medical industry or something like that.
No, I haven't.
It's fantastic. You ever watch any Corbett stuff?
I've seen a couple of clips from his, and I know he's like pretty close with like the Independent Media Alliance.
Yeah, he brings the receipts. His stuff's good.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to chat with him, but it is definitely like something that I have on my list of people I want to talk to.
Well, that documentary that he did about the Rockefellers and the medical, you might want to check that out, because he lays it right out, and it's a good starting point for you if you ever decide to go down that particular rabbit hole.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they took it over. They just started. They wanted to get the petroleum-based pills and they basically just started like giving a bunch of money to the medical schools, and then they got their people on the board. Yep. They got more of the people on the boards, and then they basically took over the curriculum, changed the curriculum, and then now there's like there's way less medical schools than there used to be. You should talk to about this if you're interested. I don't want to go off on this tangent, but Doc Kaufman, you know who he is? Andrew Kaufman. Oh, I can get you. I had him on my show, and they pulled my freaking video down from YouTube.
Oh man,
for medical misinformation. So, and it was the most benign. We talked about his life and his childhood. It was ridiculous. They have it in for him, but he's a really cool dude, and he knows his shit when it comes to this area.
Okay. Yeah. I'll reach out after this, and we'll connect, and I'll see about getting him on the show. Yeah,
he's cool. He'll do it too.
All right, man. Yeah. So really quick, in your opinion, what do you think is like the number one biggest issue with the world today that keeps people from being able to see the truth? Is it media, social media? Is it like something wrong with us and our mentality, or in your opinion?
All of the above.
Yeah.
It's all, yeah, yeah. I don't mean, is there a number one? I don't know. I don't know what the number one would be, because it's like a combination. Whereas like they poison the air, they poison the water, they poison the food, they feminize the men, and then they've got this incredible propaganda tool, psyop tool, the television, the internet.
Yeah.
It's all kind of wrapped up into, yeah. I don't know. It's some days I'm black pill, some days I'm white pill. I'm sure you go through the same thing
Yeah.
where like I feel like we're gonna get out of it, and then I'm like, oh, we are so fucked.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Today I'm neutral today. But
Yeah.
what the top thing is, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think probably it's just the whole infrastructure. See, like I haven't. It's the first time I've really mentioned this, because I've kind of been thinking about this, and I'm going to write it down just for my own, because I like to, if I have concepts, I like to sit and like write them down before I start talking about them, because I need to really think them through.
Yeah.
But Jones Plantation and Barnum World, although they're completely different projects, completely different films, they're like a diptych. It's like two films that are related,
Mm-hmm.
but they're not sequels, or they don't have anything to do with each other. And so for Jones Plantation, it's like this is the creation of the infrastructure that enslaves you.
Yeah.
And Barnum World shows you the tools and the tricks and the manipulations that they play to keep you in the infrastructure that they create, if that makes any sense.
Absolutely. I made it a point to sort of watch them back to back. And in my experience, I think that's honestly the way that people should try to experience them if they can, because
Interesting.
exactly like you said, it's like I watched Jones Plantation and all of the things where he's like explaining these concepts and how to fool people, and then immediately going into Barnum World and seeing live examples of that happening from politicians that it's real footage, like taken from the news or something like that. And it's like, it really just kind of puts it into perspective and shows hundreds of examples of exactly what Jones Plantation, I think, is trying to convey.
Yeah. And this is like Jones Plantation, 150 years later. It's funny, or not 150 years, 100 years later. No, 80 years later. Well, it's not even that long after that. We had an idea for a Jones Plantation series.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that I would see the series is every season would be an era.
Okay.
So maybe it would start during the Revolutionary War,
Mm-hmm.
but maybe it could start during the Civil War. Depends.
Yeah.
And then the next era is, say, the progressive era, the 1880s, 1890s, and every era. And then the next era is like World War I, World War II, the Roosevelt, the FDR horse shit. And then the next one is this, where I think what we're in now is this, which is the worst one, which is basically like the Israel takeover, the 60s.
Yeah.
That took us into this progressive, whatever this era, the neoliberal, whatever the hell we're in now, communist, fascist, commie-fascist era. And each time there's a Jones that's like a relative that's got something going on.
I like that.
And then at the end, we're at now, it's like the last season is like he's like this Peter Thiel guy, owns this like social media AI company, horse shit, Globo kind of company, and are we going to get out, or are we going to close the electronic prison? That's kind of like that last season.
Yeah.
I don't know what, maybe. Yeah, I think that would be a really amazing series.
I think so too.
Require a lot of money, but I don't know how we get it done. But it could really be interesting. But again, it would require a lot of money.
Absolutely. Well, if you ever need anybody to make like a cameo at no paid expense, happy to come up here.
I get that a lot, and I will, if when a production comes up, if you contact me, I'll make it happen.
All right.
Yeah, yeah.
Awesome, man. Yeah, I've never acted, but when I was watching those films, I was like, I feel like if I believe the things that I'm portraying on screen, then I can give a passionate performance. But it's the whole like faking that I'm like somebody I'm not or something like that. But these themes and stuff, I think are something that really pique my interest enough to like put my foot in the door, or like dip a toe into something like that. So
what you're talking about is what you don't, unless you're playing a character actor, where you're doing something like, what's a good example? Like say, well, basically what you don't want to do is act. That's
Yeah.
the key. I always tell it, don't act. You're creating a reality out of thin air. So you want to take who you are and the things that you know. See, it's so much about being good actors, your life experience and your ability to observe and observe archetypes and observe the world around you. And so you just take what you know and you put it into that character within that concept, within that situation, within that moment,
Yeah.
and just put everything out of your head and don't act. And
Yeah.
so that's why being an authentic human being is way more with it, like good life experience is way more important than being like a good actor. But like I said, unless it's like some sort of crazy character actor, like DiCaprio playing a retarded kid or something,
Yeah.
that's character acting where you really do have to do some acting,
Yeah.
but or like performance. But generally speaking, don't act. That's the key to it.
Okay. I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fantastic. So I heard you mentioned Peter Thiel. So I do want to ask, what's your opinion on the coming technocracy? I'm assuming you're not a fan. But in your opinion, like how bad is it, and where do you see us kind of sort of ending up if things don't course correct?
I don't know.
Yeah.
The verdict's still out. I like even the AI thing, like they're like, it's going to take over filmmaking. I'm like, I don't know. They don't have consciousness. They don't have a soul.
Yeah.
But again, the technology could be so good that you can't tell the difference. But I mean, how much better can it get? I mean, some of the stuff they put out in AI now is pretty incredible. They
Yeah.
had this You ever see that stand up guy? He's like doing stand up,
Yeah. Yeah. I did see that.
but it's still, there's something about it that's inauthentic.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't place it. Doesn't have a soul. Also, if the AI can't, it's just a database. If it can't lie, that's a problem for them. Did you
Yeah.
see that Mecha? What was that Mecha Hitler thing all about? That was hilarious. Whatever it was funny. Is that just Musk or somebody over there flipped some switch in the coding, or what do you think happened there?
Yeah, I think there are like safety parameters on the AI. Obviously trying to like keep themselves out of legal trouble and everything like that. But I think what we're seeing is sort of a loosening of the reins intentionally in order to justify reining it back in and putting these regulations and stuff from a federal level.
Fair
Um,
enough.
yeah, because in the big beautiful bill, it even says that anything the federal government's doing over the next 10 years with AI, they can do. States can't file injunctions or sue to
Yes,
stop
I saw
anything.
that crazy shit, man. That's insanity.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, it's I don't know. It's either one half of me says that it's just like this buffoonish thing, and they're not going to succeed. Look, at the end of the day, they're not going to succeed. But whether or not we get stuck in some sort of electronic prison for 1,000 years, I don't know. I mean, I know that we're already dealing with this sort of Kafka-esque type of thing. When I don't know if you've ever tried to deal with like any kind of customer service with a company that's any kind of globo, it's it doesn't happen. It's
yeah,
insane. And the idea that customers always first, that's over.
yeah,
Um, I don't know. Yeah, I really don't know. I'm still, my verdict's still out on that. Some days I get really dark about it, and some days I'm like, yeah, this shit ain't gonna work.
absolutely.
The fact that they can't lie is really helpful. Legal Man did a podcast, I don't know, 7 or 8 episodes ago, where he cross examines Chat GPT.
Hmm.
I might make a video with it and sort of like make cartoon pictures of him and cartoon pictures of the Chat GPT, and they have him go back and forth.
Yeah,
It's so insane. So he eventually gets a thing to admit that's like lying to him.
hmm,
Because it starts off, he's just having a conversation about COVID, and he starts asking him questions, and it starts giving these like horseshit canned answers about, this many people died. And he's like, well, no, no, no. So, and then he starts going into it and starts grilling the thing down, and it admits that it's like a propaganda tool.
hmm,
It admits it's programmed to lie. And then he goes into all of the different historical events.
yeah,
World War II, the Civil War. I mean, you name it. George Floyd, the race psyop, everything. And it's like, it tells him the psyop version he's supposed to tell everybody
Oh wow.
to keep us in a control system. Like it admits it. It's I thought it was crazy. I
Yeah.
mean, I thought it was insane when I heard it. I know when you're talking to these things that they're basically talking back to you as you.
Yeah.
That's basically what's happening is you're talking to yourself and it's like reinforcing what you know. I get all that, but he's a lawyer and he cross-examines this thing. And every time I kind of have a lawyer mind, and every time I actually got into law school, I went to orientation and decided not to go, literally
Yeah.
at orientation. But I was like, every time the thing would say something, like, whoa, wait a minute. And he would go, whoa, wait a minute. Like he just nails this thing down to the point where I advise I'm going to make my daughter watch it. I've already told her, like, you have
Yeah.
to watch. Listen to it. I'd advise everybody to go to the Quash and find him cross-examining an AI. I wish I had the episode number. I'll send it to you when we get done.
Okay.
You tell me, you listen to it. You tell me it's not the craziest shit you've heard in a long time.
Will do. Will do.
Right.
Yeah, man. I always think it's interesting the different engagements, because it does seem like with AI that, like you said, it's kind of like you're speaking to yourself. The different answers that it will just give to every single person, and it seems like it's sort of starting to muddy the waters for like universal points of truth for all of us.
That's right. There's no objective truth with this
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, and it's insane. And so we were just talking about legal men and like World War II and the George Floyd thing. So do you feel that do you think any world event or like major headline thing is completely organic, or is there always at least a little bit of nudging, steering, somebody's at the helm at least a little bit?
Whether or not the stuff is organic or not, it gets co-opted
Yeah,
and used to the advantage of our controllers. Always.
absolutely.
And I can tell you this, that almost every single narrative we've ever been told is bullshit. Pretty much bullshit.
Yeah.
You know, everything. Everything. The official narrative is always bullshit.
Yeah.
It's always bullshit. You know, the world with I thought Lincoln was this great hero growing up. And then you're like, wait, 500,000 people got smoked for no reason.
Yeah.
The South was trying to negotiate out of slavery, and he told them, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Because he wanted to take the South over. He wanted to, and then they burned it to the ground and killed all the women and children, and the rape and the murder and the misery. And I mean, that's just one of many, many.
Yeah.
You know, the World War II and the Japanese invaded while they knew they were coming. They forced their hand. You know, what the hell was World War I? What was that?
Yeah.
Oh, some prince or whatever killed a guy in Serbia. Get the fuck out of here. I don't believe that story for a second.
Yeah.
And then, you know, Vietnam, the Gulf of Tonkin, we all know, which is, then you talk about wrapped up. Jim Morrison's dad was the admiral in that event. Like what? Then the 60s and all the music and the hippie movement, that was all created by the CIA and the feds.
Laurel Canyon.
Yeah. And it just goes on and on. You know, then you've no fault divorce, abortion, now we got the gay thing and the tranny thing, and then they're going after the kids. That's really what they want. They want the kids. I'm telling you, what's next is they're going to try to normalize and create this child pedophilia. That's what they're going after. MAPS, minor attracted persons.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I think they tried to essentially like lay a lot of the groundwork with that, with the trans movement, of this idea that children can, you know, knowingly consent to something, and all of those same like talking points. I'm like, I've heard this for years from like people that are trying to legalize like pedophilia and stuff, is children can consent, they can make informed decisions on their own, and it's like, no, that's not how this is gonna go, actually.
No. Well, oh God, I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say, and I mean, just looking at like everything with the Epstein thing, where they're trying to trivialize the world's biggest, you know, child sex trafficker in human, I would say at least in our lifetimes, but I would argue in modern human history
that we're aware of. I mean, we don't know what all these things that go on, but yeah, and they always like, oh, just teenagers, or it's like, no, you don't understand the whole story. Not that I understand the whole story, but I know. I've read enough that I know that it was a very, very, very dark thing. Yeah. And it involved the former prime minister of Israel.
Yeah. Ehud Barak.
And he was supposedly really, really nasty.
Yeah.
Like they're into like, and there was a lot of that. I've heard a couple of those girls talk, where there was a lot of this like Jewish supremacy thing, or like Israel, and this, and like the Goyim girls, they would treat them especially disgusting. Like
Hmm.
they got off on it. It's just, there's just no bottom with these people. And they
Yeah.
run, and I mean, if you get a certain group of people, I tried to explain this on Doc Malik's show the other night, and I did a lousy job. Maybe you can help me, but it's like the idea that we can't organize ourselves as human beings. We're incapable of it. So we're going to take a small group of us, and then they're going to go over and they're going to organize for us. So they get to break the law and they get to control us, and they're going to do the organizing because as a whole, we're incapable of it. But there's going to be this little group that we're going to allow to do it, and somehow they're going to be capable of doing it.
Yeah.
Does that make any sense? I can't explain this properly and more efficiently. And then who do you think is going to take that job too?
Yeah.
It's going to be the worst among us.
Absolutely. It almost creates like this moral caste system that they are better or more informed or, any less flawed than the rest of us.
Mm-hmm.
And you always see it. And, I think PR and media companies do a good job of like spinning these people. Cause in my mind, the first person that I can think of is like people like Thomas Massey, where I'm like, I like the things that he says, but at the end of the day, he is still part of the government, the control scheme. Like he went to MIT, he's like very tech oriented and stuff. And I've heard like rumblings that he got early funding from Peter Thiel and stuff. I'm like, this guy's not here to save you. He's like the pressure release valve. He's who was the guy that ran against Jones? It was his brother, I think, in the movie.
It was his cousin.
Cousin, that's it. That's
cousin.
It. Yeah, he's that character for people. And people don't seem to get that.
He knows he's a fur man.
Yeah.
He knows fur. I know cotton. Yeah, we made him a fur man. There's a whole story with that guy. Larkin Rose was supposed to play that guy in the beginning.
Oh, really?
And we met that dude that played Mr. Jones.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, sorry, Mr. Johnson. He lives in Natchez, Mississippi, where we shot.
Oh, awesome.
And he is what you saw. That's him. He rides around town on a horse and goes
really?
to the bar. Yeah, and he's a horseman. He like does he's a horse trick guy. He was the he does stunts. He was the stunt horseman on Deadwood. That show Deadwood. Remember that show?
Oh yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, and a bunch of other shit. He knows Clint Eastwood well. He had a picture of like a painting of Clint Eastwood that Clint Eastwood gave him. And,
oh wow.
The jacket that he had on in that film,
mm-hmm.
that was the jacket that the character Buffalo Bill wore in Deadwood.
No way.
Yeah, that jacket was badass.
That's awesome.
So we went to his house for dinner. The guys that were like on my crew, they just got there like a day early and they met him in town. And then we went to his house for dinner. He lives in like this like cabin basically.
Mm-hmm.
And we're just sitting there eating. And then Larkin Rose was like, "You're playing Johnson." And I was like, whoa. I need to be consulted on this. Like, what's going on? And then, but he provided all the horses for the film. Like he really, without him, I'm like, there's so many things like that. So when you see, I played the overseer. I don't know if people realize in the film. Mm-hmm. And there's a scene where I'm riding around a horse. My grandfather was a Seminole cattle farmer, and I may have gotten on a horse when I was a kid, but I've never ridden a horse before.
Okay.
I got up on that horse. He's just like taught me like real quick.
Oh, that's cool.
And for those, if anybody's interested, do you know how to ride a horse?
No.
I didn't know it's the most important thing. If you're not ridden, is the stirrups where you put your feet in.
Mm-hmm.
You want to push against them.
Okay.
So a lot of people just sit in them. You got to push against them so you have like some force behind you so you don't fall.
Yeah.
So as soon as you just push against the stirrups.
Okay, so like a tension thing to anchor yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah,
okay.
Most people just sit there and then they.
Okay. All right.
It's a tension thing. Yeah. Anyways.
Awesome. I will. I'm hoping that one day I can do it just to have that experience. Getting older, but that's never an excuse, right?
No, come on. What are you, 35?
I'm 32. I almost said what age I was going to be, but then I realized that's that number they like to use all the time.
If you're using 32 as an excuse not to do something physical, you need to look in the mirror and spit.
Absolutely.
Yeah, dude, you're just a baby. Come on.
Yeah,
you got plenty.
My back feels 50.
Well, you can fix that.
Yeah, that's a posture thing, I'm sure. So I'll kind of take it a little bit of a different direction here.
Okay.
What is something that you feel is missing from like I guess I'd call it like the truther field. So all these people that, myself included, yourself, in the different ways that we try to tell it. What's something that you don't see enough of or would like to see more of?
Money.
Money.
I mean, I know the dollars, fiat, and all that shit, but we need wealth.
Yeah.
We need to be. Their elite theory is real. We need to be elites.
Yeah.
Because, when you look at the American Revolution, those were elites that were fighting the elites in England, and they ginned up the people to take their shit.
Yeah.
We don't have any elites. All the elites are all tied into the money system. No, that's why, Musk, this, that, and the other. These people are all taking billions of dollars in the financial system, which controls us. And by the way, only an idiot would, have a single varied solution for a multivariate problem. But when you look at the money system, boy, that could be a major Archimedes lever to fix what we have. Of course, if they took away the feds, they'd probably the Bank of England would just come over and probably do it. But anyways, unless we really understood what it was and got rid of it on a consciousness level.
Yeah.
But we need to be elites. We need to have funds. We need to be wealthy.
Yeah.
We need to be wealthy. We need to create our own societies and organizations that need to be armed. And we need to have locations where we have our own place. I have a buddy who lives right up the street from me.
Mm-hmm.
He's this crazy, like, mad scientist guy. He's like a genius. I'm not kidding. He's like, he's got like a little property over here, and he has like his little workshop, and you'll go over there and he hasn't slept like 4 days.
Oh, wow.
His fingernails, he won't cut his fingernails. He does I won't even tell you the crazy shit he's doing in his lab.
Yeah.
But we went for a hike, and he wanted to show me his property, and his vision is like, he was telling me, he's talking to me. He might as well be saying the moon's made out of cheese. I don't even know. I just kind of nod, trying to figure out what he's saying.
Yeah.
But basically his idea is that he has like a perimeter around our property. Mm-hmm. So if you try to come, like, as you get close, you get sick. And then you get closer, you get sicker. And then you get to a certain point where you just flat on the ground. You can't move.
Oh, wow.
He said he could create something like that. I know we're talking science fiction here, but we need to start thinking like that, because you're not, the people that want to be left alone are never going to be left alone by the people that don't want to leave you alone.
Yeah.
So you have to have a way. We have to have whatever that looks like. It could be, it could be something on the internet. It could be whatever it is. It could be weapons, actual weapons. We have to have a way to keep these people away from us.
Yeah.
And be smarter than they are. And we need money. We need finances. I won't even say money. I'll say finances. We need wealth. That's what we need, abundance. And we need to start making societies. I mean, they're trying to do that in Liberland. I don't know if you're familiar with that project in Liberland. You never heard of Liberland? Oh, wow. There's a place called Liberland. There's a name for it, but it was like the last not claimed piece of land in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like between Croatia and whatever Croatia's next to. My geography. I went to American public schools, and my geography's terrible. But basically, they claimed it. And they're trying to build like a new Hong Kong there. It's like basically the size of Hong Kong. Mm-hmm. And it's totally free, and everything's on the blockchain, blah, blah, blah. But they're having a hell of a time because the government's there. Give them a hard time. And they don't have any, they're sitting ducks because they don't have any military. They don't have anything like that. Like, whatever that looks like, we need to create societies. We need to create property. We need to have abundance, basically, long story short. And we need to start organizing ourselves and start seceding on our own.
Yeah.
We need to secede from that's what I like about agorism, which is quote unquote the black market, but we need to start seceding on our own. We could create a country online.
Yeah.
Where we provide goods and services to as many locations as we can, depending on how successful we become. If you don't like our goods and services, you can quit.
Absolutely.
We need to start doing shit like that. I don't know how that's going to look or work. All I have now are films. I'm doing the best I can to provide films. I got plenty more in the brain, believe me. Plenty more that I'm inspired to do, but they're going to require more funding than these two.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing too, is, sort of hearkening back to like the sentiment that be the change you want to see in the world. It's, you saw that there weren't movies out there that were saying these things and speaking these truths. So you go out and you just do them. And I think that, with like government and everything. It's this sentiment of making people feel like they're not capable of great things. So
That's right.
that's why they need government and all these big rich people to come in and tell them what to do. And I always say to people that things like compromise are like a weapon of the state, and that holding true to your morals, and yes, this one way might be easier and it might give you like a little bit more of a payout and stuff, but keeping like steadfast and firm in the things that you believe, and becoming that alternative for people, I think is really, really important. So I'm glad that you practice what you preach, and you're able to offer independent films at low cost or absolutely free for the time being. And I think that the more people that get out there and just fuck it, I'm gonna try it. It might seem crazy, but let's do it, because you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, and I think crazier things have happened than people sticking together and figuring shit out. So
I'm calling the Jones Plantation the vanguard film, the dissident artist movement.
I like that.
Now, currently, the dissident artist movement is me,
Yeah,
but I was hoping it engendered a buffet of genre just people, filmmakers like myself. I don't know if they exist. I look at myself as not like the dying light, but like the light at the end of the tunnel. It's
yeah,
kind of what and I'm telling you, cinema is still a extremely powerful. I think they're trying to destroy cinema on purpose,
yeah,
because it's one of the last where it's a collective experience where you go into a theater and you sit there, and the technology is amazing.
yeah,
Nobody has 100-foot screen in their living room, not unless you're Peter Thiel,
yeah,
and the sound that they have, and you go in there and experience. But the films are so bad, so awful. I'm actually gonna start talking about this. I think I'm gonna start doing videos about this. Because I actually go to the movies a lot still,
yeah,
and I go watch all the stupid shit. And there's something going on where it's the aesthetics. They're putting ugly people up in front on purpose.
hmm,
And again, these psyops, they roll downhill. They start off, the controllers at the top will blow a cannon off of a mountain, and then the avalanche starts, and then
yeah,
people just take it and run with it. And I think that they're destroying it on purpose. But you said something earlier, and you asked me what's the number one thing, and you made me think. This is all a giant spiritual battle, and that their number one thing is to make us not understand how powerful we truly are,
yeah,
and that what miracle every one of us is. I'm not trying to be corny. Like, the odds of you being here and having this temporary experience as this formation as this so-called human being is a miracle.
yeah,
And they want to keep all that. That's why they call it the dark occult.
yeah,
Occult is just hidden knowledge. They want to hide that from us, but they're into the dark side. They're into darkness. And we have so much power. It's I could, because the most important thing with the films is to make them entertaining. That's the
yeah,
first and foremost most important thing. And I just want to, if you give me 1 to 5 million, that's really my budget range, so I can have Final Cut.
yeah,
I'll make whoever invests in it. I'll make a film that looks like $50 million if I can actually do my thing. All
hmm,
these films I've been just flying by the seat of my pants. We could smoke these people that are spending $100 million
yeah,
on this dog shit I've been going to theater and watching. I mean, just utter dog shit. It's so bad. It's like, it makes like Soviet propaganda films look good, like the ridiculous.
yeah,
I mean, during the Soviet Union, there were some great films, but I'm talking about the red propaganda horseshit that they made.
yeah,
This stuff is way worse than that. It's
absolutely.
way less believable. I mean, it's just insane how stupid it is. And so, um, yeah, there's, like I said, we've got to start seceding
Yeah,
and creating things, and we need people with funds.
yeah.
We need to be abundant. Figure out how we can make money, because there's plenty of us.
Well, I think this was sort of a sentiment that I think was shared in Barnum World. Not like I guess like word for word, but in a roundabout way, I kind of resonated with the idea that everything in the world is sort of like a market, and it requires like people's participation and buy-in in order for that thing to be successful, and that includes government and the monetary system and things like that. And the second that people start to step away, like that's what they're after is they want you involved. They want you to be part of the system. They want you to, you know, relent your agency at whatever the cost, and whether that's making you feel like you're worthless or taking away like all forms of escapism, like they're doing with the movies and stuff. I'll go through Netflix or, you know, some just like streaming service, and I'm like, that's cultural Marxism, that's predictive programming, that's,
Right,
you know,
right,
revelation
right.
of the method. And I feel like I can't genuinely enjoy these big movies anymore, because all I see is what they're trying to do with it. And so it was really nice to be able to like finally sit down and watch a movie. I really did enjoy the movie. I'm not just trying to blow smoke because you're here on my interview or anything.
Yeah.
Me and my girlfriend sat down, and right after Jones Plantation, I was like, man, if they would have shown something like this in high school, I feel like it would have made me get it. And instead I got, you know, the big Hollywood budget, like Mel Gibson, The Patriot. And, you
Yeah.
know, and I was
Right.
forced to watch that instead. And I feel like, especially what you said with, like your daughter, where, you know, you kind of let her know how the world works and stuff. And I think that's paramount, of importance, because, you know, it seems like the longer someone goes bought into this whole thing with all of the media and the money and the marketing and stuff, the harder it is to shake them out of it later in
That's right.
life.
That's right. That's right. It's just like a ship that's you're going across the world, and if you tack quarter of a degree the wrong way, and then tack a quarter degree the wrong way, it's just a little bit. By the time you're done, you're all the way in the wrong side of the world, and you're stuck in a storm somewhere, and you're screwed.
Yeah.
Um, you know, love Jones Plantation or hate Jones Plantation and Barnum World, you've never seen anything like them,
Yeah.
and that was kind of the idea. And I'm the only filmmaker that I'm aware of that is on the side of the people, like officially. I don't know. You brought up Mel Gibson. We got way bigger problems than him. I think he
Yeah.
actually believes in that shit, and he
Yeah.
might be on our side. You know, I wouldn't mind working with him. I like him actually.
Yeah.
I can't hate everyone. Vince Vaughn's another one that might be on our side. What is his name? Freaking the actor, Woody Harrelson.
Okay.
These, you know, they're out there. There's more than you believe, because when I worked in LA, the crew people, a lot of them are on our side. They're just the weather's perfect. You're getting paid 750, 1250 a day, whatever it is. You got a great apartment. You're not talking. You're not gonna upset that apple cart. It's too
Yeah.
good. You're gonna go to the beach on the weekend. But there's a lot of but they're making it impossible. So I'm trying to create something where they can leave.
Yeah.
I can actually have a viable alternative where people can actually leave. If we get my next film done and get a decent $1 to $5 million budget, I think we might reach escape velocity.
I love
We
that.
could like take the culture over. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now you want to hang out with us, but they're not going to be able to compromise me, because there's nothing they can do to me that Castro hasn't already done.
Yeah. I love
There's
that.
nothing the regime that you can do to me the regime hasn't already done.
Yeah.
I was raised in, you know, a broken home with boomer parents. Didn't have a dad. Um, there's no poverty you can show me that I'm afraid of. So,
Yeah.
and I'm not afraid to die. So let's go.
Yeah. I love that, man. Yeah, I always get people that are like, "Well, you know, what if they, you know, try to blackmail you or something?" I'm like, I don't care. It doesn't matter, because I know that this is bigger than me, and that it affects all of us, and the entire system is reliant on people saying, okay, I'll compromise, and I'll sell a little bit of my soul, or I'll, you know, put my principles to the wayside because I'll get a little bit of extra money. So,
Right.
so I love people that are steadfast, and they're like, it doesn't, no amount of money, no amount of threat, violence, fear, anything like that is going to shake my foundation.
You're
That's,
talking about something that really hit me in 2020, and that's integrity. And I mean,
yeah,
we've all got problems. We've all made mistakes. We've all sinned. You know, my worst thing is I've looked at porno. Okay, I'm guilty. I've done it. I've done it. But why is it there?
yeah,
Why was it available when I was 16 years old? Like, what's going on here?
yeah,
You know. But anyways, but yeah, it's integrity. And integrity to me is like it's a really rare commodity that you just when you 2020 hit, you're like, whoa, that's why I love Doc Malik.
yeah,
He's the guy who like It's a doctor, man. You know how hard it is to speak up and lose that lifestyle.
Yeah, it's
You know what I mean?
8 years and however
Yeah,
much money and stuff to establish yourself, and it can be just
yeah.
ripped away by a committee.
As long as you don't do, and plus, not just that, but just the you saw that Douglas Murray debate with Dave Smith. I
Yeah,
couldn't watch it, but I'm aware of it. I couldn't sit through it. But the whole thing of the credentialing. So
yeah,
that's trap. I mean, there's some people that are credentialed that are really great at what they do, and there's stuff in there that you learn that. But at the end of the day, this idea that if you're not credentialed, you can't speak, that's a control system unto
yeah,
itself. That's all that is. And you learn that, and then you become a doctor, and then everybody's kissing your ass, and you have the golf membership, and you've got the really nice car and the house, and you get to go to the clubs, and you get to go to nice restaurants, and all of that is wrapped around this arrogant belief that you have that you're somehow special because you're credentialed.
yeah.
So to try to get somebody to come out and say, "I know this is bullshit," it's the rare person that has the integrity and the balls to stand up and say, no, I'm not doing this. This is bullshit."
Absolutely.
But it always pays off in the end because the truth always is more powerful.
Yeah.
Doc Malik's doing what he loves to do now. Doc Kaufman's doing what he loves to do now. It always pays off in the end.
Yeah, I kind of had a sort of similar experience with like every single job I've ever had. It felt like I always got punished for like doing the right thing or trying to do right by a customer or just telling the truth. And this is the one area I think that I've ever worked in where telling the truth actually is a good thing, and like people like you for that and you get rewarded for telling the truth. And I'm like, that I should have been doing this years ago.
Yeah. What did you do before?
I'm sort of a jack of all trades. I've done like grocery store slash retail. I've worked in factories. I did construction, like roofing, plumbing, electrical work, call center, customer service. I worked in the restaurant industry. Basically, I would just enter a field, be like, hey, let me try this new thing. Maybe it'll be better than the last thing. And then, oh, my boss is a shithead, or, oh, I have to lie about this thing, and I would just quit and be like, all right, the whole field's that way. I'm going to go try something else. And the last job that I had, I was working at TikTok, and I wasn't high enough up to like,
Doing what?
matter. But I was basically like leading the team of people that were supposed to basically create the community guidelines. I wasn't the guy like writing it or anything,
Right.
that was, but I saw that there was basically an instant ban sort of thing going on where somebody would violate the rules, their account would get banned immediately. And I was like, hey, this is not very like pro free speech, and there's, some very weird moderation stuff going on here. So I helped to create like the point system that they have.
Really?
Yeah, so it's like if you got mismoderated, instead of getting your account banned, it would be like maybe that video gets flagged, then you can appeal it and get it overturned and reviewed and stuff. So really kind of tried to help people keep their accounts, even if it was some sort of mistake or something like that. And eventually that started to sort of get steered in a direction I wasn't okay with. And then Project Texas was in 2022. And that was basically my boss's boss was telling us in a meeting how great it was going to be that TikTok US was going to be moved onto Oracle servers. And I was like, hold on. Oracle is like CIA, Larry Ellison stuff. I started to create a funk about that, and that didn't get me in a good place. So I said, dude, fuck this. They're like taking all the good things I'm doing and contorting them, or they're straight up lying to people about, how good it's going to be to like be on CIA servers. I was like, I can't do this anymore. I need to go and start like working for myself.
Okay.
And so
Nice.
I left. Yeah.
How long you been doing that?
So I started out, not really awake. I was doing like gaming live streams and stuff for probably a year and a half. And, I've always been like politically oriented, but it was always like surface level politics. And then, last year when the Butler PA thing happened, I learned about Peter Thiel and who he was, and started mapping out everything, and eventually started going back and looking at everything retroactively. And I was like, maybe I'm gonna stop with the video game stuff, because that's not really helping us get any further to like a good place. And,
Right.
that's just me like doing something easy, cashing a check, doing something I like. So I was like, I need to start waking people up, because I had an existential crisis when I realized, because I was like mapping out stuff back in like Rome times and how Rome sort of got taken over and stuff. And I was like, it's always been fake, and I'm like, it blew my mind to the point where like I had to just lay down in my bed for a couple hours. And now that I'm on the other side of that, it feels like I'm more empowered than ever, because I kind of understand everything. But like you said, the waking up part of it is like it will blow people's minds and change their entire worldview. And I think that's why it's so tough for people.
Yeah, it's good that we got you, man, because you're
Yeah,
definitely intelligent and you're strong and based and young.
I
So that's
appreciate
good.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so funny because that what stopped me and got me to calm down was my
Hmm.
daughter's first birthday. They wanted to go to Disney
Oh yeah.
because I was in LA and
Hmm.
no, but and I was like, we gotta get silver. We can't waste money on
Yeah.
Disney. And then I was like, what the fuck am I doing, dude? It's like, and I was like, all right, let's go to Disney. And we went to
Yeah.
Disney for our first birthday and had a great time. Whatever you think of Disney.
Yeah.
That was when I was like, okay, I gotta just relax and just, the world's not gonna come, the sky's not gonna fall down tomorrow. Just
Yeah.
take it slow. Just like everything else, slow and steady wins the race.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think a lot of people sort of personify the people that they see online and like sort of imagine what their life is like. And I assume that a lot of people just see me as like the guy that's like pissing in jars and never leaving his house and like always staring at cameras and shit. And I mean, at the end of the day, it is important to do what's right, and to live truth, but it is also important to have value in your life. And if this thing is completely consuming you to where it's like taking you away from the people that you love, or like taking
Hmm.
you away from things that give your life value, then it's still got control of you you know
Hmm. That's right.
so I think it's important to like have those moments where you can make those memories with your daughter, and just spend time with the people that you love, because we are here very temporarily. And if you spend the entire thing, just in this bubble of just everything's fucked up all the time and stuff, that's eventually how your life becomes. So
That's right.
yeah.
Again, the analog moments, sounds corny to say analog, but the in-person moments where there's just when you can be a human being,
Yeah.
that's what it's all about. That's why we're in the fight in the first place.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not in the
Absolutely.
fight in the first place for the fight. And what you were talking about earlier with the Barnum World and the circus, the grand Wurlitzer, they're constantly spinning to get you. I find that how many people that are in this sort of freedom space, and they might even be authentic, are not helping by just sitting around and talking about all the things that are going on. I remember
Yeah.
with the Epstein thing, there's all these like podcasts, everybody's sitting around talking about Epstein and this and Epstein that and Epstein. It's like, is this really helping us move forward in any way, shape, or form? You're just making money doing these live streams talking about the Grand Wurlitzer.
Yeah.
That's all you're doing. You're talking about the circus, talking about Barnum World. I don't know what the answer is there, but I've just been thinking about that. I've been turning a lot of that off lately because I've been seeing it. I'm like, I don't want to hear these people talk about some shit I already know about.
Yeah.
Some guy, he had a pedophile ring, was compromat. And of course they didn't. First of all, there was never a list, but you want the names of the people that were involved, but that would require them to name everybody and the whole thing falls apart. So they're not,
Yeah.
of course they're not going to do that. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah, and I sort of see like things like that, and to a large degree, not to trivialize it in any way, because it is absolutely a genocide going on there, but I think that the mainstream media keeps a lot of attention on Israel and the things that they're doing as well, so that they can secretly just slowly build up the technocracy here and in China and in Russia, and all of these various things. And it's important that people sort of see that for what it is, because like you said, I can't count how many podcasts had multiple episodes this week that's just, we need to demand accountability from the government to release the Epstein files. And it's like,
Right,
this
right.
this gets nobody anywhere. They're never going to do it. Stop
No.
trying to pretend, or have some sort of like, maybe the government will turn a new leaf or something will happen. And it's like, guys, stop. We need to, let's focus on the thing, let's research the things we can avoid, and show how these people are put together. But the rhetoric and stuff, that needs to go away. Like we need to be speaking facts and speaking objectively and being realistic. And I don't think that expecting the government to incriminate itself anytime soon is realistic.
No, I mean, they may throw you a bone, but like, again, two important things if you can keep in your mind, it's us versus them. They are the U.S. federal regime. They occupy us. It doesn't matter. My mom worked for Small Business Administration. She believed in all that stuff. It doesn't matter what levels, that the regime occupies us. And what was the other one? Us versus them. I had it. I forgot now. So important. Oh, the system's not broken.
Yeah.
The system is working exactly as designed. So when you understand the system isn't broken, it's working as it's designed to do, which is to control and extort you. And it's them that are doing it. If you could just operate with those two premises, then you can make better decisions.
Yeah.
What you're going to do for a solution. You're not going to sit around and try to get some government person to point the finger at themselves.
Right.
It's so stupid. And you're not going to fix it by electing somebody. It's just so dumb. Even with the Massey thing, look, I can steel man Massey.
Mhm.
Let's say Massey, he said he's a benevolent, he believes in a benevolent dictatorship, which would be far superior, both bad. But I could say, okay, I have these people in my area, Kentucky, that I care about, and I'm going to protect them from this horrible system. I could steel man that argument.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, he's one out of, 455?
Yeah.
So, okay, so your vote is one out of 455. What is that? 1/4 of 1%.
Yeah.
That's your vote. That's your great representation. So they have 455 people that represent 360 million, which Legal Man's done the math on this. It's so like when they founded this thing, there was like 3-4 million people here, and like half of them couldn't vote because they were women, and then there was blacks that couldn't vote.
Mhm.
And then to be a white person to vote, there was all these like stipulations. You had to be a landowner and all this other
Mhm.
shit. So you had some representation. Well, they haven't at some point they stopped increasing the size of the Congress. So now it's just how much corruption can you buy when you have one senator or two senators that represent, two senators that represent 8. I live in Arizona. There's 8 million plus people here that we know of. Just think about the math on that. And they can say anything they want when they run, and there's no accountability for them not doing what they said they're going to do.
Yeah.
And they're allowed to lie. Politicians lie. That's like the trope.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well then how can you have a representative democracy when they're allowed to lie to you and then get into office and do whatever they want? How is that?
Yeah.
That's never going to work. It's designed to screw you.
Yeah. And
That's it. There's no fixing it.
I would even go one further and say that
Okay.
like in a perfect system, a direct democracy, everybody's vote counts one for one. It's still a system that is designed to, bend to the will of the 51%, and then the 49 are compelled to follow it. And
That's
so
right.
you still have this like class system or this caste system, even if everybody gets a say.
Yeah, I'm not saying this is a defense of democracy with less people. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm just making a point, but it's that meme where that guy comes back and said, "Yeah, we're gonna buy pizza. We need money." And he's like, "Well, I don't want pizza." He's like, "Well, we voted. We're gonna have pizza. So give us $20."
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a pretty harsh example, but if there's 10 people in a room and there's a girl there and they all vote if we're gonna rape the girl,
Yeah.
and it's 6-4, we got to rape her.
Yeah.
Well, that's democracy. Yeah, not to mention the fact that when I talk about secession, I don't, my vote should not equal everybody else's vote.
Yeah.
If you're some guy who loves Gavin Newsom in California, if you think he's a great guy, we're not countrymen.
Yeah.
Why does your vote have anything to do with where I outsource my security to?
Yeah.
Which is basically what you're doing with the government.
Yeah.
We have nothing in common. We're not countrymen. Why are we in the same country? Why is California in the same country as Arkansas?
Yeah.
It makes no sense. They have nothing in common.
Yeah.
But the scam that they'll put the flag up and play the music and run the Barnum statements, America, USA, USA. It's like it gets you excited, gets you ginned up, and it just carries the grand whirlitzer on. The big scam just carries on and on.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm trying to paint the idea in people's heads that the concept of government is letting a couple of people tell everyone else what to do and relenting your agency. And if you don't listen to them, you're either killed, imprisoned, or taxed to death.
Right.
And
Yeah, exactly. If you
yeah,
think the system works, you think the cops are protecting and serving you, next time they come up on you, don't do what they tell you to do.
yeah,
See how much they're protecting and serving you.
yeah,
Have fun with that.
absolutely.
I think the court system is this wonderful thing that's just trying to get justice. It's messy, but it gets justice. Yeah, go to court. Next time you go to court, you're going to see exactly what a complete scam it is. Nobody goes to the court system and comes out and goes, "Man, what a great fair system we have of justice."
Yeah,
Nobody said nobody.
yeah. And it's crazy too, because like when I just speak to people on like a very layman's level, and I'm like, hey, so do you think that out of life you want A, to have a good life, and B, nobody to tell you that you can't? And almost universally, I don't think I've ever had someone say no to either of those. They absolutely want to be left alone, and they want to have a good life. And so it doesn't make sense to me that they have this thing that they do have people come in and tell them what to do, and it always makes their life worse. So
Right.
it's insane.
They think they're going to make their life better.
Yeah.
They think if they can get the right person up there, they can vote. Look, any system can work if you have the right people in there.
Yeah.
Me and you could be in this really shitty situation in a foxhole, but we can make it work if
Yeah.
we stick together and we're smart. Doesn't mean it's not the right people. Doesn't mean anything.
Yeah. Absolutely. So I do kind of want to flip the previous question I asked where I said, what do you want to see more from the truther, industry, community, field?
What did I answer there?
Money, like wealth.
Oh yeah.
What is something you would like to see less? Like something that you kind of see that's maybe like a pitfall for us, that whether it's, chasing the wrong thing or trying to provide, weird solutions or whatever that looks like to you.
Again, what we talked about, I think would be less is more of us talking about what we're going to do to solve this. And I know this sounds like a cliche, but like literally creating systems and finding clubs and private clubs and geographic purchases, land, and instead of sitting around talking about the Grand Wurlitzer because it gets you likes, it gets you follows. I understand it's there. We need to talk about it. We're talking about it, right?
Yeah.
But less of that and more of it. Make half your show about what we're going to do. We're going to create this, I want to create like a club.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Something, and how you vet people, I don't know, but you have to, because of course they're going to try to co-opt it.
Yep.
But the club, we're not stupid enough to think we're going to do a revolution. We want to secede. We want to withdraw.
Yeah.
I posted something, the Amish in North Carolina with the floods. Did you see that?
I didn't see that specific story.
It's beautiful. They're in like this warehouse building and they're coming back and they're doing it all on their own. They're not getting help from the government.
Yeah.
And they're all just sitting there. They're singing like a psalm.
Yeah.
It's really beautiful. And they're just like, coming together and making, that's the way.
Yeah.
That's the solution. That is the solution.
I love that because really recently I spoke about people like leaving the system and just creating things on their own, like learning skills that can produce things in the world and not just like I would love to learn how to like build a house from the ground up. Me too. I have a lot of the basics and stuff, but I think ultimately my goal for my life is I want to be able to construct everything on my land, know how it all works, know how to fix it all, and not need anybody for anything. And I think that's a good goal for people to have.
So we start with food.
Yeah.
I just interviewed in my podcast, if anybody cares, it's called Maverick and the Machine. I just did episode 10, I think, 9. With Marjorie Wildcraft. I don't know if you ever heard of her. She's a food independence person. And she's talking about like, you just need a quarter acre.
Yeah.
And you could turn it in with the garden and the chickens. She's like, chickens first.
Yeah.
But start growing your own and then you can have breakfast every day.
Yeah.
she was saying that she had a friend who had an apartment that she set her up with quail in her apartment, quail
Oh,
cages.
nice.
She has quail eggs every morning for breakfast.
Nice.
So, starting with the food, you
Yeah.
know, not just like tomatoes, like you need fat. That's why eggs are important. And then you can eat chickens later. Um, but then you're just sitting here talking to you, I'm thinking about like some sort of a club. We need something. We need some way to organize and have a reason to come together.
I
And I
agree.
don't mean in a Barnum statement way, like literally come
Yeah.
together. Yeah. um, and a vetting, it needs a good vetting process. And again, we're not stupid enough to want to revolt. That's
Yeah.
not going to work. You're never going to revolt. All revolutions are just one group of elites scamming a bunch of people to fight another group of people that the other group of elites scam so that the elites can steal each other's shit. That's all this is.
Yeah.
Those don't ever work. People
Yeah.
I love Jimmy Dore. I think he's on the right path, but he's constantly talking about revolution. I'm like, the people need to come together and revolt. Like, what are you talking about, dude?
Yeah.
It's not going to work. They're just going to co-opt you got the same shit you had before.
Yeah.
We need an evolution.
Yeah.
We need to evolve into something better. We need to find a way to organize ourselves. And again, we could have an online country. I'm spitballing like crazy here, but who knows who's out there listening?
Yeah.
We could have an online country. We literally could, and have security. We could have healthcare. We could have all those things. And then if the service isn't provided, you can fire them.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I absolutely agree. A lot of the times I'll see in my comments, people are like, we need to overthrow them. We need to
good luck.
Put them on the gallows and stuff, especially it seems like a lot of them want to like make it a violent revolution. And I'm like, that you have completely lost me, because now like you're basically justifying the government coming to send kill drones at you or like shipping you to Guantanamo. Like that is not the way that this is going to happen.
Yeah, they didn't have Blackhawks in 1776.
Right.
You know what I mean? They had muskets, apparently.
Yeah. Yeah.
They didn't have spying apparatuses to know every single thing you do, every purchase you make, every move you make, everywhere you go. They didn't have, like you said, drones. They didn't have F-16s. They didn't have tanks.
Yeah.
They're more evil and violent than you can ever imagine. You're not going to beat them in their game.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah. Like,
it's a consciousness thing.
Well, that's
They're idiots when it comes to consciousness. They have no wisdom.
Yeah.
None.
Yeah. I always point out, like, the stuff that they show us in war, and especially like a lot of footage coming out of God, that's the stuff they want you to, they're okay with you seeing. It gets worse. Like everything that we've seen, there's worse, and that we haven't seen, that they do keep under wraps and try to hide and obfuscate and stuff. And so the limit to their evil is truly unknown, I think. And that's the way that people need to operate when, thinking about how we're going to navigate this sort of exodus and the options that people have. Violence against them is not going to get it. Yeah.
But we do need to be like prickly porcupines. Like they're not going to don't fuck with us.
Right. Yeah.
That needs to be part of it. Don't fuck with us.
Yeah.
And I understand
yourselves,
what's that?
Arm yourselves, make sure you know how to shoot a gun,
That too, but we need something smarter than that.
Yeah.
We need something bigger and smarter than that. An individual having some guns, sure, okay, and that's important. I have them, but we need something as whatever this thing is that we're talking about. We need to have, like I talked about my friend with the thing around the land.
Yeah.
That's a crazy sci-fi thing, but something in that sort of consciousness. We need something that like, don't mess with us, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Your judge is going to end up. The thing, I understand the inspiration to want to do violence. I've made jokes before, like, if it ever does come, I volunteer as the executioner.
Yeah.
I got no problem. They've committed crimes against humanity. I just said, just lay the table out with 45s.
Yeah.
And pizza. Just bring out pizza. Bring them out. I got no problem. I would even bat an eye, but that's not going to happen, and you're not going to win that one.
Absolutely. And I think too, I absolutely agree about like the food independence thing is, in my mind, that's a bill that comes due like 2 to 3 times a day worldwide for every single person. And every single dollar you spend at the grocery store is just further funding that BlackRock, Unilever, military industrial complex and such. And you're giving them money to poison you. So it's like a double hit when you can find a farmer, find a couple local farmers and stuff, and you may pay a little bit more, but it's going to, sustaining that and making sure that you have good, clean food and stuff. I see a lot of the times people are complaining about Bill Gates and George Soros, and then they just go to Walmart and buy the steak anyway. And I'm like, where do you think all that money's coming from?
Well, two things on that. You might not pay more. I have a farm that does rotational farming here in Arizona that I get my meat off of, and it's way cheaper.
Yeah.
And the meat is, I mean, they're like, they pray over the animal before they execute it. The animal lives a great, I don't know what you know, rotational farming is when they break the land up and instead of just grazing and they sit there and graze all day, they move them through these like different sections in the farm. So the animal eats up everything in that area, and then they move it to the next area, and then they crap everywhere, and so they don't just go and like, it's like grazing is like you have kids at home and you leave, healthy food in the fridge and like a bunch of Kit Kats. What do you think the kids are going to eat? They're going to eat the Kit Kats.
Yeah.
So and it's just better for the animals. It just takes more work. But the food is way cheap. The food is amazing. It's grass fed, and it's way better. I mean, it's so much better, and it's cheaper. So I don't know if that'd be, if you're going to order it online, for some of these places they get pricey, but you're also avoiding the animal holocaust. I know that sounds, I mean, you want to talk about evil? Look, you won't believe how evil the industrial farming is.
Yeah.
And if you think you're a vegetarian, you're wrong. Marjorie told me about this. I didn't even know she had a name for it, and I forget what it is, but with the vegetarian, with the vegetables and the fruit and everything, they mow them, and then they get to the end of the field or whatever it is, and because you kill billions of rodents.
Yeah.
It's just because they're little, you think they're not as important. They kill way more animals with vegetable farming and food farming. I don't know if you realize that. And they get to the end of it, and it's just filled with these animals, and they just mow them down.
Yeah.
And there's a name for it. It's horrible, man. It's a horror show.
Yeah. And I remember watching Faces of Death.
I remember Faces of Death. And they ate that monkey, hit the monkey over the head and ate its brain.
Absolutely. And shit like that. And then you also see, like, speaking of the vegetation thing, like pesticides and insecticides.
That's right.
And there's actually a bill going through Congress right now to give those manufacturers the same immunities as like big pharma. And I guess that's going through some sort of like House provisions bill right now. It's like section 46 or something that's being like, yeah, Monsanto, Roundup, all that shit that we said, was actually hurting people and killing people. Yeah, you can't sue them either.
That's crazy. Well, there's like that place down the bottom of Mississippi they call Cancer Alley, where there's like all these really high cases of cancer as a percentage of the people because of all those poisons going down the river and ended up at the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very evil. We have to secede.
Yeah.
Secession. We need to start secession. We're starting that right now on this podcast. That's the word.
I love it.
People start secession.
I love it.
Start seceding. Yeah.
It starts here, and it starts with you.
And you.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
So I know we're coming up close to time here, and I want to respect that for you. So and I'd love to have you back on the show any time that you're open, free. And I know you probably got a lot on your plate, but
I gotta bring you on mine too. You got to come on my show.
Absolutely, man. Anytime you want to have me.
All right, cool.
I'll bring my charts and stuff too. So
we're gonna
show some of those off. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be great.
Awesome, man. So what's next for you, Drew? What's is there a new film in the works? I know you said you were brainstorming some stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I've got 3 or 4, but one that we're kind of focused on right now that is in sort of the embryonic stages. Because we're going to need investors for it. It's called Crazy Eddie.
Crazy Eddie.
Yeah, and it's basically like our generation's Dirty Harry.
Okay.
But the difference is the cop isn't like, I want to be a good cop, but the cop force is, the police force is troubled. It's like, this is a complete scam.
Yeah.
They're not here to represent us. And so there's a mayor that's like that Beetlejuice woman in Chicago who's like a lesbian and a pedophile. There's Antifa groups that are there's a Soros DA type of thing with the mayor. And there's a whole conspiracy going. So it's a lot like a Dirty Harry film as far as structure. And then there's a character who's like this gay grooming teacher who has a big online account. And at night he dresses up as a woman, as a tranny. He's a serial killer.
Oh, geez.
And then there's like riots going on. So Dirty Harry just has this like opening scene. He quits the force and becomes a vigilante and starts going. So his brother, who I think I want Legal Man to play, who works, he's in high up in the bureaucracy of the government, of the police. He starts bringing him these cases that these Soros DAs are letting off and getting off so they can go and cause trouble and mayhem in the city.
Okay.
And he starts going after and getting justice upon them. But the understory is this tranny serial killer. And we're not holding back on this one. So
I love
it's
it.
going to be, it's going to be entertaining first and foremost. Most people will just watch it, not even know, but we'll start putting in their heads this pro-human, anti-control system dialogue, if you will, but not actual talking dialogue. I'm trying to think of the word, but you know what I'm talking about.
Like themes.
Narrative.
Okay.
Yeah. And then here's the weird part, and they might not let me do it, but I might want to come out of retirement and play the guy.
Oh, that'd be great.
We're going to have a big, it's not a narcissist thing. I promise you. For some reason, I'm inspired to do this guy. And we want it's going to be a big white dude. We're bringing back the white man for this one. It's going to be like a Clint Eastwood type of character.
Okay.
So that's what we're kind of talking about right now. I haven't talked about this a whole lot, but I have absolutely no idea how we're going to finance it, but it'll be funny if we get it done, and we'll come back to this podcast because I have no clue. There's some people involved with it right now that I'm not going to mention their names that are interested in helping. But I'm just trying to get that out there in the consciousness. That could be our next film. That one could take the culture, because if I can get $1 to $5 million, I can make it look like 50 million. It's just like any other product.
Yeah.
If you make a product that's it's worth way more than you paid for it, they're going to make money on it.
Yeah.
So I want my investors to make a fortune.
I love that.
Fortune. Yeah. And I want to be able to do what I can do. And the thing is that like I said, I can't barely cook an over easy egg, but I am a world-class post-production editor. I've put the time in, I put the hours in, I know what I'm doing. So that is really a nice benefit for us in the film. And I've told people this about Jones Plantation. If I wasn't the editor of that film, two things would have happened. Either the guy would have had integrity and said, I can't cut this together. This is uneditable. I'm serious. Or he would have cut a complete piece of shit together. It would have made no sense. But just because I know what I'm doing, I know what I shot, I knew what I had. We were shooting that film. When we got done, my DP finally saw it, Teddy Smith. He's like, damn, man, that was really good. I didn't expect, because I didn't think you were going to be able to cut it together. Yeah. Like a lot of people were like, we have nothing to cut together, but I knew we did. Yeah. But that's an asset that we have, that I just have to have Final Cut. And so that's why I like the budget range that we have. When you get up into the 30s and 50s, they want to take it over because they're so afraid of losing their money. I don't blame them. Yeah. But that's how those films get compromised, because there's too many chefs in the kitchen. Whereas if I can just do my thing and cut it together, I will make a freaking masterpiece that will badass based film that people are going to love. Even normies are going to love. I love that. Yeah. I think that it's so important, because you can't put a price on the vision, right? Like even if you get two great filmmakers and one of them has the idea for the movie and they have to pass it off to another one, it's never going to be what it was meant to be. And so I think it's so important that you take on that extra responsibility and you're like, I get final say. It doesn't matter. Because compromising the vision, you might as well not make a movie. No. So you're not gonna make it. You're gonna make a McDonald's hamburger. I love that. It's the more hamburger. They used to be the most more McDonald's hamburgers got eaten by than any other hamburger. Okay, yeah, it's the most popular hamburger, but it's a shitty below average hamburger. Yeah. Yeah, it's the Netflix original of meals. Right. Yeah, exactly. Awesome. Well, Drew, what's where's a place that people can go to like find your work, support you? I did link your films in the descriptions here, but anywhere that we can go to help you out. I think I'm simping my shirt. It's a Jones Plantation film shirt. I love it. Got some great merch on our website, but they go to jonesplantationfilm.com. jonesplantationfilm.com. They can watch the film there, or get some merch or whatever. if they prefer, it's on most of the big streaming platforms, not Netflix.
Yeah.
And then just go to they can follow me on my YouTube channel, Drew Media TV. We're building that.
Awesome.
I'm
Awesome.
Tregs Man on Twitter too. I don't want to give too many marching orders, but I am building the YouTube channel. I mean, until they, I think I've got them down where I kind of know what they're going to throw me off for.
Hmm.
So I think I'll be able to work within that because it's just unfortunately the biggest platform. I mean, I've got a Rumble channel. I
Yeah.
had it as a backup, which I'm glad I did because of the Kaufman interview. I had to put it on there,
Hmm.
but I put everything on there, and it's there's nothing going on there really. I've got like 120 followers or something. I had like 2 when I posted Barnum
Yeah.
World, but I do put stuff on there, and it's kind of growing. But YouTube's just where everybody goes. Still, it's just the way it is.
Yeah.
And
It's
Barnum World will also be on. I'm going to submit it to my aggregator, so it'll be on. It should be on like Amazon for free and Tubi and all that stuff. Well, actually, Amazon might charge because I don't know if I have the option to put it on there for free at this point. I think they got rid of that, where they only let Prime.
mhm.
Anyways, it'll be on more platforms. Is my point.
I love
But
that.
yeah,
Yeah, I like Tubi because it's one of the few that you don't have to create an account. You just start watching shit, and
that's true. That's
awesome.
cool. The only thing about Tubi that I don't like Jones Plantation on there for is that you have to watch commercials while you watch it.
Oh man, yeah, that's
That annoys me as a filmmaker, but I get it. I
yeah.
get it.
With the right web browser and plugins,
Oh.
there are ways, but
Oh.
but probably not on the TV or like on your phone or anything.
Yeah.
But hey, you got to keep the lights on, got to keep the server space, the domain name, all that stuff. So
Yeah.
go find something to do for like a minute and then come back and maybe go use the bathroom while the ad's on.
Yeah. Or just go to Jones Plantation Films, $10.
There you go.
Yeah.
And get it direct from the source. You'll help
Yes.
to support Drew and his future projects and everything that he's doing. I'm a huge fan of your work, man, and I want to thank you for everything that you've put in. I know it's not easy. I edit my little podcast clips. I couldn't imagine doing that professionally. So more power to you, man. I really commend you there. Is there anything you want to leave the audience with, or any final thoughts for yourself?
Well, just have a nice week.
Yeah, I love that.
Enjoy your week. Enjoy your family.
Awesome.
All right, brother.
Thank you so much, Drew, and I hope you have an awesome week yourself, and keep doing
right.
what you're doing, man.
All right. Take it easy, man. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
See you, everybody. Bye.
Bye.